Hello everyone. Today, I want to tell you a story about how a single invention changed a sport forever. Imagine for a moment that you want to drive a race car. But there is a problem. In the old days, you couldn't just go to a dealership and buy a race car. You had to buy a regular family sedan, take it home, strip out the seats, replace the engine, change the tires, and hire a mechanic to rebuild the whole thing. It cost a fortune, and if you didn't know what you were doing, the car still wouldn't be fast. Believe it or not, before 2015, this was exactly what it was like if you wanted to get into long-range precision shooting. You know, the sport where people try to hit a target as small as a dinner plate from 10 football fields away. Back then, you had two choices. Choice number one, you spend $4,000 or more on a custom-built rifle. That's a lot of money. Choice number two, you buy an old-fashioned hunting rifle, usually a Remington 700, and you spend months and thousands of dollars fixing it up because hunting rifles aren't designed to shoot 50 times in a row without overheating. It was a rich man's game. It was hard to get into. And then in July 2015, a company called Ruger said, "This is ridiculous." They released the Ruger Precision Rifle, or RPR for short. It cost less than $1,400. It looked like a sci-fi movie prop. And most importantly, you could take it out of the box, drive to the range, and hit a target 1,000 yards away. Today, with the help of the amazing X-ray views from the game world of guns, Gun Disassembly, we're going to look inside this machine to see how Ruger democratized accuracy. So how did they do it? Did they invent some brand new, magical technology? Actually, no. The genius of the RPR is that it didn't reinvent the wheel. It just put the wheel on a better car. Ruger had a budget hunting rifle called the American. It was cheap, but the core part of the gun, the metal tube where the explosion happens, called the action, was actually very well designed. The engineers looked at this cheap hunting rifle and thought, this metal heart is strong. It's just trapped in a cheap plastic body. So they took that heart, upgraded the metal to a super strong steel called 4140 chrome moly, and built a completely new skeleton around it. By using an existing design as a base, they saved millions in research costs, which kept the price down for us. Let's look at the design. If you look at a traditional hunting rifle, like the one your grandpa might have, notice the shape. The stock, the part that touches your shoulder, is lower than the barrel. It curves down. This is fine for hunting, but it creates a physics problem. Think of it like a seesaw. When the gun fires, the force pushes back. Because your shoulder is below the barrel, that backward push turns into an upward jump. The muzzle flips up. This is bad for a sniper. If the gun jumps, you lose sight of your target. You can't see where your bullet hit. Ruger changed this. They looked at the military M16 and AR-15 and said, "Let's do that." The RPR is a straight line. The barrel, the action, and the stock are all in one perfect row. When you pull the trigger, the recoil goes straight back into your shoulder like a polite shove. It doesn't jump up. Why does this matter? It allows the shooter to see the trace. That's the vapor trail the bullet leaves in the air. If you can see your own bullet fly, you can correct your aim instantly. It's a huge advantage. Now, let's open it up using the world of gun simulation. We are looking at the bolt. This is the part you pull back to load a new bullet. Most old-school rifles require you to lift the handle 90 degrees to unlock it. Try lifting your hand up 90 degrees right now. It's a big motion. If you have a big telescope on your rifle, your knuckles might hit the scope. Ruger used a three-lug design. Imagine a triangle. Because of this shape, you only have to lift the handle 70 degrees to unlock it. It's faster, smoother, and your hand doesn't hit your scope. It sounds like a small thing, but in a competition where seconds matter, it's huge. One of the coolest things about this rifle is that it is basically a Lego set for adults. In the past, if you wanted to change the barrel of your rifle because you shot it too much and wore it out, you had to mail your gun to a gunsmith. He would keep it for 6 months, charge you hundreds of dollars, and use a lathe to cut metal. The RPR uses a barrel nut. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a giant nut that locks the barrel in place. If you have a vise and a wrench in your garage, you can change the barrel yourself in 20 minutes. This was a feature borrowed from another company, Savage Arms, but Ruger perfected it. Also, look at the handguard, the part you hold with your front hand. It doesn't touch the barrel. Not at all. We call this free-floating. Think of the barrel like a tuning fork. When an explosion happens inside, it vibrates. If your hand or the stock is touching the barrel, it ruins the vibration and throws off the shot. By letting the barrel float freely in the air, the bullet leaves the gun exactly the same way every single time. We can't talk about this gun without talking about the ammo. The success of the RPR is tied to a bullet called the 6.5 Creedmoor. For a long time, the standard was the .308 Winchester. It's a big, heavy bullet, but the 6.5 Creedmoor is different. It's slimmer and more aerodynamic. Think of the .308 as a school bus and the 6.5 Creedmoor as a sports car. The school bus is heavy and catches a lot of wind. The sports car slices through the wind. At 1,000 yards, the 6.5 Creedmoor drops less and gets pushed around by the wind less than the .308. And the best part? It has less recoil. So, the RPR combined a gun that doesn't kick much with a bullet that flies like a laser. It was a match made in heaven. Here is a tiny detail that shows how smart Ruger's engineers were. Magazines. Before this gun, there were two main types of magazines for sniper rifles, and they didn't fit in the same gun. It was like having an iPhone charger and an Android charger. Ruger invented a special latch system. It can take both types of magazines. You can use the expensive metal ones for competitions, or the cheap plastic ones you use for your AR-10. It solved a headache that shooters had dealt with for years. So, what happened when this gun came out? It caused a panic. Other gun companies realized their $700 hunting rifles weren't good enough, and their $4,000 custom rifles were too expensive. The RPR forced the whole industry to change. Now almost every major gun maker sells a chassis rifle that looks just like the RPR. Ruger took the mystery out of long-range shooting. They proved you don't need to be a millionaire or a master mechanic to hit a target at 1,000 yards. You just need good engineering. Thanks to the RPR, regular people like you and me can experience the thrill of sending a piece of lead 1 kilometer downrange and hearing that satisfying ding of steel. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please check out the description below for more info. And huge thanks again to World of Guns for the visual tools. See you in the next one.